Hello, this is Bill Batchelor with Martin Ray Winery. We're here in Russian River Valley at our beautiful winery, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about what we do. Martin Ray was one of the pioneering winemakers in California wine history. He started in the 1930s. Martin Ray was one of the first winemakers to really use European French-style winemaking in California, and did things like open-top fermentation, mountaintop fruit, single vineyard bottlings, distinct varietal representations, let's say Pinot Noir, Cabernet, Chardonnay. And he was a legend in his time, and worked with a lot of the greatest winemakers in California in his heyday. He passed away in the 1970s, and with that, the Martin Ray brand sort of went into obscurity. In 1990, a young man named Courtney Benham was starting new in the wine business, had another little brand he was working on, and was walking through a warehouse in California and stumbled across a great collection of vintage Martin Ray memorabilia in a warehouse space. So he contacted the Ray family and purchased the rights to the brand and relocated to the Russian River Valley in Sonoma County, and decided to kind of reintroduce the brand and pay respect to its legacy. Since then, we've been sourcing fruit from the Santa Cruz Mountains. We do Cabernet, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, all from Santa Cruz. We still source Cabernet and Pinot Noir and Chardonnay from some vineyards directly across the road from the original winery. And every year we work with this fruit to kind of pay homage to the original Martin Ray. Martin Ray currently is really focused on sourcing the best fruit from Russian River Valley and Napa Valley, as well as our Santa Cruz Mountains heritage. So we've gone to great lengths to source small lots, little distinct vineyards in pockets around Russian River Valley, Green Valley, Annapolis, to represent what this region has to offer for the best in Chardonnay and Pinot. On the same token, we've also gone to some pretty neat areas in Napa Valley to find Cabernet that works, and we source fruit from some pretty unique vineyards along Diamond Mountain District, Stag's Leap District, Atlas Peak, Mount Veeder, all these mountaintop regions in Napa Valley to bring wines that are very distinct and high quality to what we do. And we work with these growers. We've had some of them 15 years now. So we go out every season, throughout the season, and work together with these growers to really hone the vines to what we're looking for quality. And the longer you work with these vineyards, the more you get to know them and you understand the nuances every year and the consistency that maybe that vineyard will deliver. With Martin Ray Wines, we have a great history behind us, and we've gone to great lengths to maintain the quality that has been associated with Martin Ray over many years. My job as winemaker at Martin Ray Winery is to make sure that every bottle that comes out is a bottle that you can go to, and whether you're having it for dinner or a special occasion with friends, it's a bottle of wine that you can expect to be consistent in quality, with great flavor. It'll be just like you remember it. So my day begins by coming into the lab and reviewing what's been done on the wines, and from that I make decisions about what we're going to do for that day. And our laboratory staff will essentially take a sample of each juice and they'll run basic chemistry, and this information is what we use to make pretty much all decisions about the wine for its future. And so this morning the laboratory is going to run essentially pH, total acidity, volatile acidity, sulfur, and Brix, which is a reading of sugar level. And from that, I can make decisions on what type of yeast we'll add, how much acid we need to add back, and make a plan for fermentation. Winemaking chemistry is actually relatively simple. This pH is the primary thing we look for, alcohol, and sugar. I'll review the analyses, and then the next step for my day is basically going out and checking on the babies, as we call it. I'll personally walk around and check each fermentation that we have going. Probably the best winemaking you can do is be out there on your feet and personally be involved in each lot of wine. And it really helps to go down and feel each tank and smell them and just see what's going on, because these wines are active, living organisms, and you can't make wine from your desk. We're here in the Martin Ray open top fermentation room, and in this room we have 33 open top fermenters, where we do most of our Pinot Noir and all of our high-end Cabernet. These are all small lot fermenters that hold a maximum of 6 tons each, and it allows you to put the fruit in the tank without crushing it or pumping it into the tank. We keep them covered when they're not fermenting. It's called cold soak. So essentially these vats are full of grapes, but they have carbon dioxide dry ice pellets on top of them to keep air out. Each of these tanks is punched down 3 times a day. We have a device that comes around, and it's a ram, and it pushes down and pushes the skins all the way down below the juice, and then they puff back up again. And by doing that, you're essentially steeping the juice in the skins and getting all the flavor and the character out. This is the Martin Ray barrel aging room, and this is a kind of a new space for us. We took an older part of our winery and renovated it to be a new spot to really take care of our best sort of high-end wines that we've got. And in here is where all the wines will end up and sit for anywhere from 1 year to 3 years, depending on the program. At Martin Ray, we have a lot of different wines. We work with different coopers to match those wines. People think a wine barrel is a wine barrel, but actually they're all very different in their own way. It's just like yeast. They have little characteristics they impart depending on where the wood was sourced in France or America, what type of grain it is. There's called tight grain, medium grain, fine grain, and different forests have different species of oak that sort of impart slightly different characters. And what's nice about barrel aging is that it's a closed environment that allows a little bit of oxygen to gradually sort of interface between the wine and the barrel. Through the pores of the wood, you get slow oxygen transmission, and this is partly what helps age the wine in a graceful way. Barrels are great little miniature tanks that are insulated and unique in their own right. No two barrels are the same, and by having a variety of barrels in your program, you get a little more complexity and interest on your wine. So some barrels may impart more of a sort of a caramel mocha type character. Others have a spice tone like clove. Some of the American barrels can be real heavy on vanilla. And those pieces together are what contribute to a really sort of interesting complex wine when you're all done. Each lot of wine is maintained here in this barrel room. Every barrel is coded and marked so we know what's in it. We know exactly what barrel type it is, what year it is, and then within that barrel we know the wines. Over the years we've developed a barrel program that works for us, but it's constantly in evolution. I think that's important for us as winemakers here at Martin Ray to continue to look for a better path and maybe improve on the wines we're doing. So barrels are one step of that process. So here at Martin Ray, we've decided to replant our estate vineyard. We've had a vineyard on this property for 100 years, and in the recent years it was just in decline. And so what you see here is a brand new Pinot Noir vineyard that's staked, trellised, ready to go. This is actually the Mount Eden clone, the original Martin Ray clone that he brought over and grafted from Paul Masson. So the white tubes here essentially act as little heaters to concentrate sunlight down at the base of the vine and allow it to grow. They also keep rabbits and other little critters from eating them up when they're young. These are tasty little grape tendrils. We went through a lot of energy here to really create what we hope will be a beautiful estate vineyard for Martin Ray. In a couple of years we'll have 2 acres of estate fruit that should be pretty incredible. We changed the row orientation to sort of a diagonal so you get even sunlight morning and afternoon. So in 2 years we'll have what we consider a pretty top-notch estate vineyard.